All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
March Comes In Like a Lion, Season 1, Episode 11.
All right, so that last episode is probably one of the best episodes of the show. Had one of the best rants from Ray. Just the only really rant except for that one part with the TV.
Right. But that even wasn't a true rant. That wasn't
really.
A raw
because this was coming straight from the heart. It was coming straight from the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Just him rejecting the idea that he should have to hold back what he wants, hold back who he is to, for fear of, hurting others in that way when they're not living to their fullest and stuff. And this is something that's going to hit really hard because there are a lot of people out there that I think will make excuses for you to not live up to your fullest potential. Some way that is ultimately self-based, where they're trying to do that, and also just give themselves some reason to feel or some way to justify the feelings that they have, which is just insidious and disgusting. So I love this show so much, and I've heard it just gets better and better. So looking forward to this. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, we got a copyright claim for these videos and stuff. I know there's been a couple of ones that have done that there, but make sure to have your own footage synced to my countdown here. So I'm going to start the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. But at least this way, guys, you get to see all of our discussion in these episodes, because they're so dense sometimes with how much stuff that gets put in there. I'm glad that we all get to go on this journey in that way together. Because of all the shows we're watching, this is the heaviest. For sure. Really? But even to the point of where you think back on all the shows we've ever watched, this is probably one of, if not the heaviest.
Consistently throughout, yes. Although, Made in Abyss broke me.
But that's not heavy as more it is just eviscerating and traumatizing. Yeah.
Right. Again, the atmosphere of this show is absolutely incredible. This is
realism, in that big double O oof kind of area there.
Big oof,
Big oof, yes. It's a big ooh, and then everyone else presses F, just infinitely, just F, 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 F. Oh. And yet he has so much brightness in his past that he can't see just because of the stupid people. I need to. Okay. Okay. No. Okay, at least it didn't spill out.
Right.
Oh. The way it looks like the water is coming over the bed there. See that?
Yep.
This is why being alone is not the best way to go about things. And calling people and asking for help.
Yeah.
It's good too. Oh, buddy. Have you ever had a fever above 104?
Not above 104.
But at 104, kind of close.
I think I've had one that got.
That's when you start. That's when you start hallucinating.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Oh. Cool. Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. The things in that room are really important, but they didn't give us enough time to look closely at them other than like the bed and some other things. Is it Hokkaido?
It's Kyoko.
Yes, this is definitely Harunobu. Oh!
Immediately gets up.
You can't be here. You're gonna get sick. Good. Okay. Nice. Well done. Roger.
Oh.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and
no.
The fact that they got a taxi because they thought he was sick and they didn't want him to be walking to the hospital when their money situation is low and
yeah. Oh. That's clever, actually. Oh.
Yeah.
This is so sweet. No, full Fluffy. Yes, Momo. Alright, now rest. We don't want you to put anything back up, right? Wait. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And like within the last year.
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so not last year.
Yeah. Hmm. Oof. Yeah. Oh. I'm frantically searching for tissues. Hmm. I mean, it was a matter of time, but yeah, she wasn't letting you in there anyway. Hmm. The new year. Hmm. Yeah. A different dream. Oh. Nice. Oh. Heavy. Oh. Okay. Hopefully they don't get sick, you know.
Well, yeah. But if it's just a cold, then...
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Although, are they trying to imply that they don't even have a thermometer?
Yeah, kinda. Ah! What is it? What is it? Noni, noni. Oh. Let's find out. Wait, did she look at them?
Maybe.
Oh, no! Yes! Yes! Oh! Dang! Wait, why am I defending him? Okay. Okay, new character. Cool. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa. Uh-huh.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh. Chunky boy. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Oh. Nice, that's cool. Oh. Gotcha. So that's the connection. Okay. Oh. Hmm. Black Pearl from the South Seas. Cool. Okay. So get more time with her. Oh. Nice. It's also practice for her. Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah. Yep. Oh. Cool. Nice. Cool. Right. Oh, yeah. She missed it. Watching Momo though, earlier in the episode though, that was yeah. Cool. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because don't look, Ray. Oh. Oh, buddy. Come on. Yes, there you go. That's a better line of thinking. Yeah. Because it's similar. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, so sweet. So wholesome. Oh. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. This show.
Yeah. Yeah. So the part that we were both kind of noticed, that one thing was Momo clinging to the ant, right? Or was it something else?
Well, no. Yes. But
what was it?
When the ant showed up and they did this flash of like, you know, negative purple energy from the side.
Right.
And then Akari was gone. Next shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, right. That was a really sweet episode. Yeah, it was a very funny episode, but it was a very sweet episode of the sudden ninja attack of Momo and Akari and Hina.
Yep.
Suddenly they're like, squad up, let's go.
That's
Get
right.
him. Yes.
We think he's in trouble.
Yes. And they rescued him, they doctored him up, they took him to the hospital, they fed him, they took care of him. It was so sweet and stuff. But the really wholesome thing that surprised me was the dad having called so many times, freaking out, just being like, Are you okay? Are you okay? What's going on? And it is something that makes sense that they would be the ones to, be the first responders in that respect. But one of the things that I wonder about here is, how did they know that the dad had made missed calls? Was there a possibility that the dad is aware of them as a family and basically called them, said, hey, could you please check on him?
I think could be. I don't think so, though, just because I don't think Ray would tell the dad about them, Okay. Because I don't think they would have that much connection. Unless it was via, Kyoko knowing about them, but I don't think she does. Because if they had any kind of confrontation where Kyoko and Akari were in the same place at the same time,
oh my gosh! Kyoko and Akari in the same place at the same time.
And the thing is, when I say that, I think about all the times that where anime will do the spat between the females, and it's usually because they're fighting over a boy or something like that. But this is so far removed from that, because
so that's not even something that happened in the episode. So let's not go into that.
But the wholesomeness, we got Ray actually to spend time with them and stay at their house after all the stuff with Kyoko that has happened recently. So it's like, yes, this is good.
The whole thing of him sleeping and having the different types of sleep and having the dreams and stuff. One of the things I think that's really interesting here is that when you get sick, especially with a high fever, you can hallucinate and stuff.
But get pretty delirious.
Yeah, but one of the things you can also end up getting is a reset, where your body basically is telling you, you have been exhausting yourself and stressing yourselves out so much, so we're actually going to put you into a minor little bit of sick to just kind of get you to shut down.
Right.
And now that's not necessarily how it works. His stress brought in the issues that made him get sick. But what I like here is that he transitioned through, I think it was 3 different types of sleep, where he ends up going from the weird dream that he's had since childhood and stuff to then having the dream of the childhood stuff with his sister who's died and his mom and stuff, to then at the very end, when he then finally has the best sleep he's ever had, in a long time.
Deep.
Yes, just deep sleep. One of the things that's really cool there is that you look at what were the forces that made this reset happen. What were the things that made it happen? Well, there was the sickness, which was instigated by all the stress and him dealing with all of this stuff. And he, in some ways, he kind of became more of himself in the last episode, the episode before this, where he yells out all his frustrations and stuff. And it calls back to me a part in Last Airbender where Zuko has a moment of coming into himself in a really strong way, and then gets really sick afterwards. But then after that, he's changed in an impactful way. What I could see happening here a little bit more realistically is something where Ray is able to realize that this whole setup here was one of the final, I would say, just moments of where he realized how much he can rely on them, how much he can I would just say just how much value and how
the kind of effect they have on him.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you.
And how different it is from the effect that Kyoko has on him. Because
if he can't distinguish that,
I know
him, but
right, and I know that he knows that. But the thing is that it's there's a difference between knowing it in your head and experiencing it. Because up till this point, and I would say the fever could be that too, is that was the effect of the fact that he was basically going against Kyoko, right? with the things that he did. She tried to, dig her claws into him, and he didn't let her. Right? And that's a strenuous endeavor because of all the stuff that's happened before, right? So, he gets sick, and maybe that's not the reasoning behind it, but hey, they left it up in the air. So, it could be that, or it could be what you were talking about, or something along those lines, something more than just a basic sickness, right?
Right.
And then they come calling to his house and come to help him out. And...
what I think is interesting here is that the family, the Wholesome family, Akari, Hina, and Momo, their whole actions that they did here actually put them in a very awkward situation. Yeah. And Rei, I think, is just now starting to realize how much they're putting out for him, specifically because of Akari saying that this was not just something of where they wanted to help and stuff like that. Akari needed him here. She wanted him here. And they had their little moment of crying together. Now, here's the thing. The show kind of brushed past that really quickly. Like, it just happened, and then it moved on, and they cut to the next scene, and it's like, no, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to do anything about that and stuff. Yeah. There's a vulnerability that Akari has that she doesn't show. Yeah. She has it. She has it. Yep. But she doesn't show it.
Right, because she's in mom mode. Yeah, she's in taking care of other people.
Right. Yeah. And what Rei has still not understood, because his stuff runs deep, is the value they have for him, like the amount of desire they have to love him and to
and how much he can help, how much he helps them just by existing and being with them.
Yes, but that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of thinking that he. That's the kind of thinking where they need to start with him, but I think they've gone through it in a more roundabout way, which I like even more. All which is that they need, or not even they need, that he needs them. Like, he actually needs them. If they go for it from the thing of, oh, you are valuable and you can give a lot to these people and stuff, that just combats directly with his argument that just says, no, you are not valuable.
Sure.
And I think what it is, more specifically, the argument that's coming at him right now is he realizes how much he needs these people and how much they care.
Literal healing that happens when he's there. Like,
yes, like
in addition to the metaphorical.
Right. It was something where him as a mechanical, shogi player and stuff, he understands that there were certain moves that needed to be made, otherwise he would not have won this game necessarily. Right. Or he would have won this game, but it would have taken a lot more effort. It would have ended maybe a bit differently. And this is something where I think that will break through his own insecurities and trauma and stuff to get at the core part. And then he'll be ready to receive the thing that they should be starting with, but for some reason, or not for some reason, we know the reason, he can't receive that. You're valuable, you're valuable, you're valuable, we love you, like you're amazing. We have all these positive things to say about you, and he won't accept that. He won't accept that. Yeah. So this is really good. I love the stuff with the ant. I love that we both noticed different things, and we both thought we were connecting on what the thing was that we noticed. But I was noticing that Momo clung like immediately to the ant, and it was a cling that seemed not perfectly Momo in what I understand.
Right, kind of more than just the status quo Momo.
More than the usual Momo cling of you know. It was the like, I don't know if the aunt is the sister of the mom. I believe she is.
I believe she is.
Yeah. But I get the kind of the thing of the child being like, you smell like mom, you remind me of mom, you're very similar to mom, I'm going to hold on to you, and I'm not going to let go. And she didn't let go. But you noticed something even more interesting, which was that
they did it for just
Akari
a split second.
Had that split second of just like,
and they didn't even show Akari was the thing. They showed the grandpa, and then to the side of the grandpa there was the purple negative energy, and it was there for like a split second. And then in the next shot, they show that Akari's not sitting at the table anymore.
Right.
And she's away somewhere else. And
it's like she's collecting herself.
And then when I thought about that does Akari not like the aunt, it put a whole new perspective on all the times that she was interacting with the aunt and had this smiley, bubbly, like warm attitude. No, we haven't.
Oh, you mean all the interactions in the future of this episode?
In the future of this episode,
okay.
yeah. Because there was the whole thing that they certainly made a point that the aunt was well off, and that Akari was working for her, and that for some reason she felt the need to wear all her fancy stuff when coming to visit them, which...
No, she came straight from the in-laws.
Oh, that's right. She came straight from the in-laws. That's right.
She made the point of being like, I went out there to impress them.
Right,
and now I'm here and I can relax my shoulders.
Right, exactly.
So she's not being condescending, maybe intentionally, but there is that small aspect, I think, where Akari... feels a bit inadequate maybe around her.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit of where she feels maybe a little used by her.
Yep.
Or maybe there's also an aspect of, oh, you just come here and throw some money at us. And
right, exactly.
That constitutes a good, healthy connection.
Yeah. And the whole thing of the fact that they sort of like glossed over how she was the one who ended up eating most of the food.
Oh,
yeah. They spent a whole bunch of time preparing and things like that. And it's like, is she actually helping, or is she just, having them like sort of like
serve her?
Exactly. Yeah.
That is interesting. I know that in family social dynamics like this, especially with extended relatives, like extended family, there are weird, subtle things that happen that people don't talk about, especially, I would say, in more reserved cultures. So with this kind of setting here, we have some very interesting, I would say, I don't want to go too into like power dynamics, but there are different role dynamics, at least,
right?
Where you have the eldest, the grandfather there, and he seems to have a little bit of a, kind of a, I think if anything, it seemed like he was the one that was kind of getting a little bit antagonistic more towards her, because he was talking about how way that the job situation was with Akari.
Yeah.
And she was going at it from the angle that seemed to be kind of projecting, giving kind of what she would expect to, if she was Akari, what she kind of would want Akari to turn into, which I think is fine enough, but it did feel a little bit self-oriented,
right? Because the thing is, and there could be a lot of good that Akari gets from working there, because it's a place where she takes off the mom hat.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely,
which is something she absolutely needs, right?
Absolutely.
But the fact that it's also something that's helping the aunt out, and it's like
convenient.
It's convenient, you know.
So I also would love to see if they get into whether or not there's any kind of, I don't think they're going to go into this because the aunt seems pretty well-meaning. I wouldn't assume anything villainous about her and anything
like
exploitative, like underpaying Akari or something like that. I think if anything, what it is that Akari is not willing to leave the house enough to have the job be actually that beneficial.
Because she only works 2 days a week, so that's,
and she also helps out the grandfather with their little shop thing there, which is probably also where she's not getting paid.
Sure.
I just gotta say,
because that's right, because that's the helping out the family business type thing,
and this is something that I think is based on the fact that the grandpa probably pays a good chunk of the rent,
right?
So
exactly.
It's probably not.
It makes sense.
It's probably not a problem, but it is kind of interesting though that the reason why I think he sees a problem with Akari being kind of maybe kind of used by Misaki. I think her name was Misaki.
I believe so. Yeah.
Versus him kind of using the kids.
It's a much more his workplace is a much safer environment. Let's say,
and that was his
Misaki's.
argument.
Yeah.
Yes, and yet it's still something where that's a family thing, kind of working towards a common goal, I would say, and I would have liked if he had talked a little bit more directly about it. I think he was beating around the bush, and he brought up the safe thing because it's something that's more objective rather than a subjective argument, which would have maybe gotten emotions out and a little bit more awkwardness.
But this kept the conversation a lot more civil.
Yes, and I think that because he's not saying she's the problem. He's saying that the environment that she's in is the problem.
That's not necessarily the healthiest place for her to be working at.
Right. Yeah. And I think I brought this up a while ago and stuff. I don't know what the law is about, serving alcohol or doing what she's doing there, if there's any actual issues with that.
Right.
We don't know how old Akari is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything involved there that's actually wrong. So I'm assuming the best so far about the aunt. But you're right. There were some weird, subtle, kind of social, weird family dynamic things going on that were very much, I would say, under the table, like very, very quiet things.
Yeah, and like she did the whole thing of like she did she put the money at the memorial offering altar place or whatever for her sister and her mom, but it very much seemed like, coming from Akari, it was one of those things of everything that I do to basically be the mom that that I don't have anymore and they don't have anymore. And then you just come in, on the New Year's and, give us not even gifts, just you give us money,
Yeah,
that could also be felt as like a charity thing.
I think that's part of it. I think Akari has a little bit of a pride thing due to the fact that it's a very precarious, sensitive situation for them, and I don't think that there's anything really negative we can look at the aunt from this whole thing here. What it might just be is, I think that the aunt, given that this is the first time we've seen her, my first conclusion that I jumped to is that she's not around as much as she could be. And it seemed like she was like, oh, I got out of this whole thing because the uncle went to a soccer game and I just happened, sure, Happy New Year's and stuff. It's like, you were not my first kind of thing here. But she did plan the gifts out. She had one even for Ray. So I can't look at her as being someone that's in the wrong here, especially when we've seen how bad family members can be at remember Ray's funeral, the funeral for his family and stuff.
It seemed more like Akari was basically like, this is one more person that I have to sort of like not take care of, but put on a face for, because she was talking about how normally if Ray wasn't there, she would probably end up cleaning and crying and things alone, like that. And this is just another thing of, okay, relatives are here, gotta have everything together.
That is interesting. That is a really interesting point. One of the things that Jacob and I would say never really had a problem with is we have relatives and stuff that will frequently visit us and stuff, and we have no pretenses at all with these extended family.
We don't necessarily tell them about all the anime we're watching,
but like specifically with we don't dress up for them. Right. We're like, yeah, come on in, it's there's no weird like tension or something like that. But I could imagine being in a situation where let's say back when our family was like really not like, we did not have money or like anything.
Sure.
Like
when there's something that is a source of insecurity, then that is something that you don't necessarily want to be observed. And especially when because it could be something that has nothing to do with the aunt necessarily. It could just be that because Akari knows how well the aunt's doing, right, and it's like, oh, she's coming over to the house, okay, we'll let her have the lion's share of the nice food that we prepared, and Akari talking about all like the cool ingredients and things that they had, like, because there's the meaning behind them, and it's like, all right, cool, that's nice.
And I think that was the main point of it, but there is a subtle other thing, the thing of like, on there.
We got nice stuff, and then
I want to draw a personal experience from this here. There was a time when we had foster brothers and stuff, and so I remember a time when we were basically like we were limiting like how much people could eat. We were making sure that like things were very much kind of kind of in a specific kind of order, and things that money was really tight, and there were times when we would have people come over. Now, here's the thing. We had foster kids, and, these kids would come off the street and stuff, so people weren't necessarily, like, aware of how our family dynamic worked and stuff like that. So there were times when I remember my mom trying to make sure that we kind of cleaned up and made kind of things to be kind of seem like we had kind of things under control. Yeah. But I was like thinking in my head, like, it's like chaos, just wait, behind the corner over there. So like, yeah, I get that. But I could see, like, in times when it would be like a family member who was maybe, well off or something like that, or someone who would come in and, we'd get all the nicest food, out from like a store or something, and it'd be this big thing. And then the very next day, we're eating peanut butter sandwiches and, just kind of regular.
And there's the aspect of it that's, hey, celebrating special occasions like New Year's and things like that, totally makes sense.
But there is a bit of a false kind of,
it can shift from one to the other pretty easily. Yeah.
It is weird though, because I think as a kid, I didn't get what was going on. But I understand that there are some weird, subtle things I think most people don't realize they're doing, because the primary goal is, like what Akari was saying, like, we're trying to just have a good time as a family here together. But also subtly, there's that 10% of it that is also trying to show that, we're doing just fine. We don't need your money. Like,
and that's like, and things like that make me like
it kind of mirrors what Ray is going through.
Well, sure, but like the whole bit of the fact that they went there in a taxi to get Ray because they thought he might be sick. They didn't know that he was sick or not yet, right? But they thought he might be sick, and they wanted to take him to a hospital without walking. That could be something of either wanting to, like, I don't think it was anything in that sense. I don't think it was anything that was like wanting to impress Ray or anything, because he knows what their situation is. No. But just the thing of, they care about him that much that if they think that he's sick, they're not going to risk basically him needing to walk to the hospital. Of course, and,
of course,
aggravating my condition.
Nice.
Yeah. And like the little things that they just put in there with that, I feel like that's something that gives this show a lot of rewatch value, because a lot of the finances stuff, like, I didn't realize, on your first watch. Yeah, in the first watch,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of subtle things going on that I think makes this show a cut above the rest when it comes to the directing choice, and I would say also I wouldn't even say just kind of the framing of it, because that sounds like a directing thing, and since I don't know much about directing in general, I would say it's almost something that, gives, because this is Shaft, I'm actually seeing certain things of Monogatari actually blending into this in terms of shots that they'll frame at specific times in between conversations, or just things that aid the visual storytelling elements. And a lot of it, I would say, actually is in the comedy, which is hilarious. But then there are other moments where you'll see, specifically with Akari, these very specific kind of panning slight shots where you see her kind of, her face go gray, and she kind of pans her eyes down and is thinking, and showing just the bottom half of her face and stuff.
Like the part in this episode where it showed her talking and the frame rate went up on as she was speaking, right, to show the way her mouth moved and stuff as she was talking. It's like, okay, all right,
Burdens. This show is about burdens and connections and people and life itself. So much stuff. So much good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching our reaction discussion to this episode. We're looking forward to the next one. If you want to see the next episode's reaction, though, right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories or just anime in general, whatever. Yeah. And if any of that interests you... Oh, wait, hold on. Jacob's going to promote something here real quick.
Indeed. So, my sci-fi novel, Battle Lines, is available for pre-order still. The link to the Kickstarter is in a pinned comment down below. Go check it out, because it is really good. Yeah. So you should get it, because you can read it and know all these characters and stuff. It's going to be wonderful.
So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.